like they're late as usual. Yeah, consistently late. No one will ever notice. Here's what we do, Steve. We keep it consistent, right? We
Yeah,
consistently are late. How are you?
I am very good, thank you.
It's a fantastic Monday. I got another week off, it seems, according to the government of Quebec.
Quebec.
Yes, yes.
Ça rentre pas au travail la semaine
No,
prochaine, Big Vince.
yeah. So we'll go from over there. So from now on, we'll cook. We'll play my FIFA 12. By the way, I made it to the quarterfinals
Very
of
nice.
my Champions League tournament, and now Seedorf, he got an injury, so now I gotta play Van Bommel. It's
Van
okay.
Bommel, it's okay.
That's a good substitute from over there. But there's Montolivo as well on that team. So I'm
Dutch
not
for Dutch. Dutch for Dutch.
Dutch for Dutch. All right. Gigi saying it's buffering. Gigi, maybe it's your internet. I don't know. Yes, we're live. Okay, Steve, are you feeling we could start it off? And I'm telling
DJ, DJ Khaled.
All right, because I want to start it off with a bang, Steve.
Yeah.
And I've been watching The Last Dance '90s music video.
Yeah, I know it's hard. It's what a documentary, huh?
Let's go, baby. We gotta start it all with a bang, Steve. Like, let me knock you directly in the face. Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast. Here where we talk everything Milan. I feel like Donald Trump over here, man. Yeah. We talk everything Milan, from quarantine Milan, from, we're getting all kinds of new players, Milan.
Yeah.
We might start the season soon, Milan, and we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be. Now, let me that hit that you played, was that a headliner from Milan with Love? With DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled.
I'm sorry, Steve. As soon as Milan, I commend what they did, but as soon as they said DJ Khaled, whatever his name is, they lost me at there. So I'm sure they did well and collected some money, but they could have had Ricky Polveri, Toto Cotugno,
Albano
Romina. So I don't think it's brain surgery, but anyways. Guys, thank you very much for being with us today. We got a special guest. He's waiting on. He's in. What do you call that, Steve? In the VIP lounge. He's waiting in there.
Milan Weekly Pod VIP lounge.
VIP lounge, and he's set up, dude. He's got a microphone. He's got everything. But before we go to our guest, Steve, I want to talk about this week, Steve. We had a
Championship Sunday. Championship
Sunday. Milan, Marcello had organized. Well, not really. Marcello likes to take the credit, but was one of our members. Let's do a FIFA tournament, FIFA 20. We had FIFA 11 to practice me and you, but we didn't make it past the first game. But Milan Club Denmark wins against Milan Club Egypt, the finals, and I hope it was a contest. But Steve, before we get into it, for all our fans, all our listeners, maybe the people that did not have a chance to watch, please bring out your inner Bob Ross and paint us a picture on how this FIFA 20, may I say, scandal happened.
Yes. So first of all, congratulations to Milan Club Denmark on winning the first Milan Club Montreal International Tournament of Clubs. It was a great game. Nice. Look, I'm not a big gamer. I'm not going to say that I watched every single one, but I tuned in and watched Sammy represent Montreal.
And we love how they blame the game and the player.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't understand how this right back is so slow. It's because it's reality, and we are really slow. Anyways, to make a long story short, ladies and gentlemen, the chapeau to Medzi, who is a Milan Club Montreal member, for coming up with this idea. And then, of course, El Presidente and Jan taking the bull by the horn and running this thing where we got, a little bit of recognition from Milan, even though it's absolutely not the game that they're sponsored by. But Presidente was worried. We had an entry for Milan Weekly Pod. We had an entry for Milan Club Montreal. Guys, it's gonna look bad if Milan Club Montreal wins the tournament. We're the ones who put it together, and he's gonna.
He was ready.
Yeah,
was he ready at the possible scandal that he was going to match?
He was ready. He was ready. So we had to calm Sammy down, and we said, "Look, don't listen to the president. He's a little bit he's a little bit whacked with that." And then everybody who knows Presidente from the whole draw, you see that he's doesn't like to be on camera. So we could just imagine the scandal that was gonna be if Milan Club Montreal did win. But the Presidente was ready. He said, "Guys, don't worry about it. Sammy's a fantastic player. And if he does win, Vince and Steve, I will guarantee che I suoci del questo club and this club will understand that it was done with all due respect and all beautiful, beautiful gamesmanship by Sammy and all the rest of the members." So we're like, "Look, Sammy, don't get mad there. It's like you got to play your game and you got to try to win if you could win." And Presidente had all the outs, right? The game was equally balanced. The teams and formations, no one cheated. The draw was done random. You saw it. We have it on video. We have it in live. We had all the answers, guys.
The press conference was ready. The press conference was ready just in case. But
and then, of course, when Sammy lost, he's like, "Wow, big monkey off his back." Sammy, you played a great game. By the way, the final is Denmark and Egypt on Sunday. He didn't care about Sammy.
No, it's just like So thank you for not winning, Sammy. So Presidente, even though he was ready to, do the press conference in front of all the people.
Could you imagine that we would have set him up with a nice little podium? Cari amici e suoci.
Guys, let's get straight into it.
Guys, before we introduce Richard, please admire. It's a first. First appearance of my new jacket. Zip up.
You know what? Let's see if Richard likes your jacket. We don't even introduce him. Richard from Serie A, sit down. How do you like that jacket of Steve's jacket?
Bellissimo. Hey.
Look at it.
That's beautiful.
Guys, look at us getting a guest to give us the presidential perspective presenter with a professional microphone.
Yeah.
He's coiffed. Look at that hair, Steve. Do you have hair like that? I don't have hair like that.
Quarantine hair here. It's growing on me.
Look. He's got a classic Milan kit. Beautiful. And on that note, Steve, I was telling Richard and everybody out there, that jersey reminds me, guys, Sfide, Sfide. Search it on Google. It's on the Rai Play. I can play it. I can cast it. Fantastic stuff. There's a beautiful 45-minute documentary on Maldini, on the Italian national team, on all the goals. It's just great stuff. Keep it up. Welcome, Richard Garman from Serie A. Sit down. Thank you for joining us. From even though he told me he's from Maryland, but he's like, he likes to tell people Washington D.C. But he's in Maryland. It's a state. Baltimore.
Hey, I watch college basketball. I know where Maryland is. Okay,
very good. Thank you, guys. Hey, and David Fonte, I saw your shout out there. I do look like Serge from System of a Down.
Yeah, but I have no idea what that is.
First, I'm gonna say I'm honored and I'm happy. I'm honored because obviously I'm a Milanista and I'm on my favorite podcast here, so I'm honored to be with you guys. But I'm also happy because you for your trial run with this presidential the PPP, you had my boy Frankie on. And, it was a good way to break the duck, get the new guy in there who doesn't know what he's doing. Then now you get the expert in here, and now we're good. You're ready to go now. I love it.
Taking shots at Chicho from Serie Sit down. And you know what? I got a beef. I don't really have a beef, but he likes to remind me that I named Maldini a right back. So it's okay. You can take shots at him. That was on me, by the way. That was on me. Richard here, Stevie P, Vinny T. I didn't want to get into the news of this week, what we heard, because I go, maybe Richard has something to talk to us about. As you guys know, we're not prepared. Me and Richard, we spoke 10 minutes before this podcast. As you guys were talking about beer, we're talking about quarantine. Yeah. Richard.
Yes.
Unless you have something to say, Steve, to Richard, should he start? Yes, go ahead, Steve.
May the fourth be with you, because it looks like you have a helmet on.
It does, doesn't it? Well, yes. Let's get right into the presidential points. We'll start off with an easy one first. All
All
right.
right.
News came out recently, actually, last couple days, even as early as yesterday. It's about Orsato. Okay. Ex-head of FIGC prosecutor's office, Percoraro, says no explanation given why audio between referee Orsato and VAR in the game where Vecino was sent off, Pjanic wasn't, in 2018 from Juve and Inter. So what all Milan nation want to know is, did Montari's goal in 2012 count against Juventus?
Oh man, this is like
This is classic.
Are we
It's
surprised?
classic.
Are we surprised?
To
it's
be very honest, you're not surprised, but it's
okay, guys.
classic Serie A, though.
Let's
Classic Serie A.
okay. Let's discuss this. Let's discuss this because there's always two sides to the story, gentlemen. Is there not? So
No.
do we
Not here. Not here, Vinny.
do we know
There's
for
no.
a fact? Do we know for a fact that all conversations between VAR and the ref are recorded? Do we know
Yes.
for that for a fact?
Yes.
So why would this come out now, Steve? Why would this come out? Oh yeah, I remember that game.
But it's typical
There's no
Serie A.
calcio on
There's no nothing to write about. And every once in a while, you have to pick at the giant. You understand? So, like, people, as much as this is clickbait, this is a humongous problem. The thing is, Vinny, it would be one thing, and I wouldn't have taken it that bad, and I would have been, I would have laughed it off if they would have said, you know what, we lost audio for that complete game. We lost everything. We lost from the beginning to the end. No, they lost a specific piece. You cannot lose a specific piece of audio. You have to want to lose that specific piece of audio. And that game was terrible because Pjanic should have been sent off, doesn't get sent off. Then Vecchino, whatever his name is, that guy who just keeps on scoring against Milan and he does absolutely nothing the rest of the year, he gets sent off. It changes it changes the game completely, changes the campionato completely, impacts a team who's watching and losing the Scudetto at home. That's a big problem to lose that audio. Someone is going to have to give us some answers of why they lost that audio.
Okay,
They won't.
So let me ask you guys this, right? This story coming out in this time right now in Serie A, does it have as much as an impact if we're in the middle of a season? Is this story going to be forgotten about like in a week or two, guys?
Well, no, because there's nothing else to forget about. This is the big problem that they have, is that people are going to constantly remind them of that. I'm watching Sky, and that's all. And they try to navigate around it for some reason. You can't navigate around this. This has to be front page number one until someone explains why you lost the audio, where is the audio, and what was that audio. It can't go away, Vinny. If it goes away in the middle of the season, you'd have said, "Oh, you know what? They would have lost the audio, but the next game there would have been a controversial red card for, I don't know, Juve or Napoli that would have completely erased the whole losing of the vocal or the audio that they lost.
Okay.
There's nothing to erase now.
So
The only thing,
do we know for a fact, Rich? I don't know if you know on your is it a fact that all these conversations are supposed to be recorded? Because I read somewhere that, like, the conversation between the actual ref of the game and the VAR ref are not recorded. I don't know if you've heard anything on your side.
I don't know anything about facts, but you would think it'd be common sense to have it recorded just for purposes of making sure that you are transparent and nothing is crooked going on behind the scenes, right? You'd expect it because they're already recording everything behind the scenes. You would expect the audio would be recorded too, because it's important to hear what the referee is saying between VAR. And if he doesn't ask for a certain replay or why, you want to hear their explanation why they didn't want to go to VAR or whatever. Those should be recorded.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a fact, but I think it's common sense that it should be.
and even they use it sometimes. There was that Australian ref, I think, if I'm not mistaken, who they actually heard his conversation with the VAR on why he was going to make this call and why he did not want to go to VAR, which that's okay. We want to hear that. If Vinny, they record the game. We're able to rewatch the game. We're able to see the highlight 150 times on Novantesimo Minuto, whatever show that you watch. That has to be due diligence. That has to be something where if there's a problem, let's go to that conversation. Let's see what they spoke about, and not to cause trouble, but to at least improve the VAR. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
Now you're saying I lost all the audio. No, you didn't lose all the audio. You lost a piece of the audio, the most important piece.
I guess we're going to be talking about this for a while if they continue with the story. But Richard, I like the way you started. You started with that bang, right there. Put it
I
in
got
our
to get the room active. I see the room's really active now. You say Rubentes, and then everybody gets active.
Everybody's commenting. You got Tommy. You got Facebook Frank over there. It's like the our encyclopedias or historians that are working. Well, they're interns and are really working for us. But thank you guys. What else you got for us, Richard? Let's go. I'm feeling pumped up right now.
Presidential point number 2. We're gonna keep it antagonizing the fans here. Of all the rumors we get about all these players potentially coming to Milan, the one big snake, if you will, that's been in the air is Mauro Icardi. Will he or will he not come to Milan from PSG? Recently in the news, they asked Wanda, of course. Wanda, Mrs. News here. She laughed it off apparently and said that there was no way that he would leave. He would go to Milan because that would be a step back in his career. Do you even want Icardi at Milan?
Ma vaffanculo, Wanda and everybody else. I knew it. Richard, you see me looking to the left or to the right. I'm scratching out my indigestions. The indigestion, the lost the thing, lost the audio. Now we scratch out the indigestion. Wanda. This is not tiki tak. I know it's Milan Weekly Podcast. You're never gonna see it, but let me tell you from the bottom of my heart of a Milanista, I said it from the beginning. Icardi I would take, but Wanda I don't want her near. Now a step back. He went on vacation to PSG to win something. Vinny, I'm telling you, I'm a better athlete than you are. But if they would suit you up in PSG, I'm pretty sure you would win a trophy.
Me?
Yeah. Yeah,
really?
They would.
Okay. Thank you, Steve.
And they got this fluff win. It's a fluffer. They were gonna win anyways, but they got it in the beginning of the year, which I hate, to be very honest. You gift wrapped. But I read the article. She's like a step backwards, and he loves Inter. Why do you don't love Inter? You don't care about Inter. Wanda doesn't care about Inter. Wanda cares about Wanda, and Icardi cares about Icardi and the money exactly. And if he would love Inter so much, and then we're gonna see him. Eventually, we're gonna see him in the zebra colors. That's probably even worse than him coming to Milan. He's going to Juve, even worse, and he's gonna probably win another Scudetto with them. But a step back. You didn't win anything with Inter, anyways.
I forget her comments or whatever. I'm sorry, guys. I'm maybe part of, not maybe. I am part of the minority here. I'd fucking take him. I'm sorry, guys. I'd take him because in that quality of striker that he could be. And I just have this in my mind that he just wants to stick it to them. And I know that we've had, characters in the past. If Ibra would play with him for 1 year, I definitely, honestly, I would take him and just wash away everything. I'm watching all these old games online. I'm watching all my old videos, and I'm looking at guys that, oh my God, na bandiera and this and that. And I kept on telling myself, Vince, Steve, we always keep on talking about forget these times that the bandiere sono finiti. There's no such thing as the Tottis, the Maldinis. It's over. So if he's going to come and play for us and stick it to Inter, we've done it with Pirlo. We've done it with Seedorf. And I think most of this conversation, whether it be from us nobodies, right, to these professional pundits, is the Wanda factor. And if there was no Wanda factor, guys, think about that. I want you to ask yourself, if Wanda was not part of this picture, would you still take them?
So anybody would take this, but the problem is that Wanda's a big factor. Wanda's a huge factor. Guys, this is a Curva Sud who, you know what? You mentioned Sfida, and I watched Sfida. Hey, they gave it. They called out La Bandiera del Milan. They called out on his last day at San Siro. They had no hesitation calling him out. Do you think that they're not going to call out Wanda Nardi with every single? If Icardi comes and he scores 20 goals, 25 goals, yeah, they're going to forget about it for a bit. He's going to go on a slump. at a certain point, and there's going to be signs everywhere. And we know Curva Sud, their imagination is fantastic, guys. So I could imagine the striscioni that are going to come out from there. And it's not only the striscioni, Vinny. You cannot, she's an agent. She's his so-called agent, okay?
Yeah.
So she's allowed to play this game. I'm 100% for it because she is his agent. So she has to do the best, what's best for Mauro Icardi. Right now, she has to create a bidding war. So the leaking of him coming to Milan stirs up a little bit of action. Then it gets a little bit more real, and Real Madrid get interested, and Juventus get interested. The end goal is never to come to Milan. I'll be very honest with you, and everybody has to be honest with themselves. The end goal is not to come to Milan. His end goal is to end up at Juventus or Real Madrid, to play for one of these teams, show that he's worth the type of money that he's worth, and then right off into the sunset, and he laughs at everybody. But Milan in the end is used as a pawn. We've been used as a pawn before. We're getting used as a pawn again. And unfortunately, that's where we've reached until management and everybody else gets on the same page, creates a project that people want to come and play for. And then you know what? Why not the crazy rumor of going to Juventus? It's a rumor, but not as big as Milan. Why would that be a lesser rumor than going to
Yeah,
Milan?
no, you're right, and as Frank likes to correct me because he's a heel, telling me that Pirlo was left to rot when Inter kept letting him out. Seedorf was a swap. Thank you, Frank. Thank you. He's like Jim Cornette. He's a heel. But Richard, would you take him? How about you? What do you think?
Frank and I, we talked about this on the podcast, and he has all these antics. There's Wanda, all that factor, but you kind of, Vinny, you talked about it. He would score goals, and yeah, you probably wouldn't cheer as loud, but eventually, if he scored like 20, 25 goals, you probably would forget it for a little bit. You'd have to take it because we haven't had a striker in God knows how long, a proper striker, and he would be that potentially. I mean, we said that how many times in the last 10 years, right? So. There's there's no guarantee. But
and I think maybe the fact that he might be, at his best, maybe top 10 striker in the world. If I'm just maybe top 10. So is this our first time that we have a top 10 striker in the world that's at maybe our reach, that may be feasible? Right. That's why I keep on talking about what? Yeah, we'll take him because who else is out there, Steve? Who else is out there?
The thing is that there's no one out there. There's Aubameyang who's coming on that final year of his contract at Arsenal. And that's the question that I got. What's a realistic striker? I don't know what a realistic striker is for Milan because can we spend the money? To me, to be very honest with you, if you put someone like Aubameyang and you put Icardi on the same plate, I'm gonna lean to the Aubameyang just because he came from Milan. You understand? He's gonna understand. And it's not that I don't want to take Icardi. I want to take Icardi, but there's a back game to this, even more than the Juve rumors. And she's not stupid. She's a very intelligent woman, to be very honest with you. Because
she's gonna go for the money, Steve.
She knows Inter will lose Lautaro Martinez at a certain point. They're going to make a shitload of money, but they're going to lose him. So Messi wants him at Barcelona.
Sorry, I just love Facebook Frank, Chicho from New York, and Tommy. Like they're talking about, and Tommy, Icardi è un bidone. That's it. Tommy, everybody's a bidone. Richard, this is a fantastic conversation. What else do you have for us? Because if not, we're going to talk about Icardi for the next hour.
Well, the reason I brought up Icardi is that striker problem. And Tom Williams from Bleacher Report, he came out with an article the last couple of days, and it says the curse or coincidence, the troubled recent past of Milan's number 9 jersey. Since 2012, the Milan strikers who've worn the number 9 have only scored 29 Serie A goals. Meanwhile, Ciro Immobile this season has 26, 27. That's a big problem for us. And let me just list the name of the strikers that have been on our team since 2012. Alexandro Pato, Alessandro Matri, Fernando Torres, Mattia Destro, Luis Adriano, Gianluca Lapadula, Andres Silva, Gonzalo Higuain, and Christoph Piontek have all worn the number 9. And the most goals we got from any of those players was Gianluca Lapadula with 8 goals in 2016, 2017. So the question is it really a curse, or just have we not picking the right striker to wear that number 9?
You just named all those players, Richard and Steve. I don't know if you agree with me, but the only thing that comes to my mind hearing those players is Band-Aid solution. I believe that every single time that we got one of those strikers was like, let's go back to Destro or Matri for that matter, that made our final bidone of starting 11 in the last 10 years. But Steve, I don't know, I don't think it's a curse because we've never put a top guy, a world class. It just seemed that every single time was like, hey, you know what? We got this guy. He's going to help us out for a couple of years. It's like, out of all those names that Richard just mentioned, to me, it's just been. And yes, Faz saying, "Oh my God, Lapadula is the leader of that bunch." Yeah, that's pretty sad when you start thinking about it, right? So, have they all been Band-Aid solutions, Steve? No, nobody's been given that number 9 and go run with it, right? What do you think? Piontek,
Look,
maybe.
even at that, he switched right from 19 to 9. I don't know about Band-Aid. I'm just think this goes back down to again a lack of vision, a lack of player development, a lack of mercato knowledge. To be very honest, with you know, like a guy like Lapadula. You understand? He was the leading goal scorer of Serie B. You went and you purchased him, and you took that chance on him, and he's the one who leads all the rest of those people that you must have paid almost double for. That has to say, but you didn't give Lapadula a chance. You gave up on Lapadula. Let's say Lapadula becomes, which of course in the end he didn't, but it's that's the frustrating part for me. You know, like that 9 is something that's been worn by greats in the past, and you have to earn it. But the numbers are like the number 10. You understand? We have Hakan Chanalobulu wearing number 10. You're watching. Everybody's watching old Milan and old World Cup games, guys. The 10 was the 10. The 10 meant something. The 9 means something. You can't just give 9 to everybody. So a bit of a curse. The soccer gods, they get pissed off when they see
We
that.
have Chalanoglu as number 10. You think that we take these fucking numbers by a serious, Steve?
But that's the thing I'm saying. The soccer gods, at a certain point, they intervene. So a little bit of curse, I believe it, and mostly I want to say band-aid, but I can't even call it a band-aid. I call it as a failed attempt to. We failed in multiple sections of Milan currently throughout the years.
Okay.
We were not able to sign a striker to score goals for us, and we were not able to get that general in the midfield.
Honestly,
it's haunted us for 10 years.
Out of all those names that I mentioned, probably Alessandro Pato was the only one who was really a really good player. He had injury problems, and I think that problem kind of coincides with when he switched a number from 7 to 9, and it kind of went downhill from there. There's coincidence there, but
there's also a problem that Pato really liked Barbara, right? He really liked Barbara.
Okay, so other than yes, David, I agree with you. My boy was the last number 10, Seedorf. But okay, guys, let me ask you. Other than Lapadula, and maybe Cutrone wasn't really given that chance as a premier, starting striker. Other than Lapadula and Piontek, which of those players were possibly like, yeah, here's our future? Because all of the guys that you just mentioned, there was no when we got Torres, when we got Matri, when we got fucking Nikola Kalinic that we fucking paid. How much did we pay for him? 20 million. How the fuck did we end up paying for Kalinic? But none of those strikers were, hey, here's the reins to the team and go ahead. Who guys?
Can I tell you a player that did not wear number 9 who I thought did not get a fair shot that could have been our future? Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. He left us and went to score a boatload of goals in the Bundesliga, breaking even got the first Dutch player to get 30 goals in the Bundesliga or something like that. He ended up having a great career both at Real Madrid and Milan. He did not get a fair chance to get that opportunity. He'd come in late in the games and score a goal here and there, but
true. I think he's on my FIFA 14 game. I'm going to go download it again, I think, from over there. Steve, I don't know where you stand on all these things, but are we going to get there one time, a real number 9?
They're going to have no choice. They're going to have no choice to address those two positions. Maybe that's going to be the end of our curse. I don't know how long this curse calls. For me, it's not the curse of the 9. It's the curse of everything that's happened throughout the years, right? Guys, I love Milan and I appreciate them. And this time that I've had going back and watching old Milan, and they're on the screen again now. Guys, a guy like Ambrosini, you know what? I used to like, oh my God, Ambrosini's coming in. Hey guys, this guy lasted a long time. A long time. And you know how we sent him off, guys? We sent him off on a table that we usually use for Easter when we invite guests that we really don't care about.
Yeah.
With a tablecloth on
Thank
there.
God for that
You
game.
know?
I believe it was a Fiorentina where we fucking gave him
Yeah.
his due and they gave him his
And,
standing ovation.
and you can say whatever you want, like the same thing. Players at a certain point when they've given you stuff and they've done a lot for you, they might want to move. And I'm going to bring up, I know Vince hates the Pirlo thing, but you have to take it from, and Vince, you always say there's two sides to a story. That guy gave us two Champions Leagues, Scudetto.
Steve,
No,
Steve.
you have to make me finish.
All
His
right.
request was to play away from Milan. They denied him that request to play away from Milan. He came back, he won another Champions League. Now, at a certain point, you have to let the guy go. But they couldn't let him go because they had no one to replace him. So they let him go and they gave him a pen. A fucking pen.
Yeah.
So you know what? He took that fucking pen and he wrote a goddamn book. So all you Milanisti who shit on Pirlo, who went on to Juventus because we're that stupid not to sell him out of Serie A, take his book and read it properly. Don't read it like a Milanista and say, you know what? Maybe he has a point. Maybe Milan fucked up.
Maybe Milan fucked up, Steve, but there was no place for him to say all that fucking shit. I have no problem with Pirlo, what he brought to Milan. But would a Maldini say shit like that, like he said? Would a Inzaghi
He
say
did
shit?
it.
No,
He
no,
did it.
no, no.
So why
We're not
did
going to
the-
get into this conversation.
So
We're not
why
gonna
did
get into this.
No, because you guys you go
Rich
with
is
your
having a
blinders.
good time.
You
No,
go
no,
with-
no, 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 no.
Everybody has their blinders on. Everybody wants to see.
Pirlo was injured for 6 months, and that Scudetto win. I'm not debating that we did something wrong. We won a Scudetto without him. He could have fucking went anywhere, and he went to Juventus. I'm sorry, Steve.
They did not.
Maldini, Inzaghi, Seedorf, all these fucking legenda would never go to a fucking rival team. He wanted to
They
go to
came
Chelsea.
from a rival team. They came
doesn't
from
matter.
a rival team. They came from a rival team. And Maldini, you saw, he insulted his own curva. His own curva didn't even want to salute him anymore, which was wrong. But that's life, guys. But you can't look at it only one way. You have to look at it both ways.
Richard, he's poking at the. You know what?
Okay, you know what?
Richard, we're not letting you go. You're gonna stay on this episode,
Sure.
for the Twitter questions and everything. Fuck Pirlo, fuck him, right? I love what he gave to all of us, and that's the way it's gonna go. And I guys, I love you guys. You're the best.
I love this thing. This is the best. Pirlo was a nobody before he went to Milan. That's obvious, Tommy. We understand because we changed his career.
Yeah.
Comments like that, Vinny. That's the thing that I'm.
No, but he was okay.
I'm
but
pro Pirlo because it's Coppa Mondiale, it's two Champions Leagues, it's Scudetto, and ever since he
as
left,
the
you know what we
player,
have? Zero.
as the player,
We have
Pirlo,
zero.
chapeau. As the player, as a person, I'm sorry. I don't know if it was for fucking clickbait, for selling his books. I'm sorry.
It's
What
for
he
selling
said.
a book. It's for selling a book.
Richard, do
Vinny.
you have anything else for us? Because I'm not
It's
going
selling
to
a
go
book.
I want to change it to a more happy note.
No, we're not fucking want to be happy. Let's go. It's
Okay,
like
look.
when Steve. It's like when Steve tells me, "How come you don't support the Italian teams in Champions League?" And he does it because he wants. To
I don't
fucking poke-
support, but I don't support.
No, but I say that you like to tell me that because I like to get fucking riled up, and it was the only
More
time
on
that
the
I got
podcast,
riled
but
up.
outside, I don't.
Okay, Richard, what else you got for us before we get into these
Presidential
two
point
Twitter?
number 4 is Milan is known as with Champions League pedigree more than anything else, right? What are your favorite single game or single player performances in the Champions League history?
Kaká, Manchester United.
Yeah, I was gonna say we just came from that anniversary. I was just gonna say Kaká, that just like the what do they call it? The perfect game? I don't know if you guys
You
saw
know
that
what?
was Pellegatti with
Perfect two
Carlo
legs.
Ancelotti on a Zoom call, and they were talking about the perfect game. You can't,
Yeah.
and not that we can talk about Rivera back in the '60s, but Steve, what other game can we?
No, but I've been watching, and I have
I
to
agree.
give a shout out. And I've watched Milan Barcelona in the Champions League final. I watched the almost all the other games of the 1994 World Cup. Guys, I have to tip my hat to our buddy are Daniel and Massaro, same Puma tracksuit every single night. He Guys, this guy was a player, man. And you know what? I didn't have a chance to watch him because I was way too young and appreciate that. Guys, you what? This guy was opportunistic, man.
Yeah.
Hey, he played with some really crazy people.
Yeah.
And the thing is that while I was watching this guy was near my, he was near me. Like I went to pick him up. This guy was in my Nissan X-Trail.
We
I
have
picked
a
him
video.
up at the hotel.
Hope you never
We
cleaned
have
it.
we have a video of him and us making fun of his Italian and our English, and he was fucking. And we don't realize, especially when we were watching these documentaries, like that was fucking Massaro that scored against Barcelona. Yeah, that was that was it.
Yeah. Give Frank some airtime. Frank, Steve,
Yeah.
you're wrong, my friend.
Oh shit,
Pirlo is look at this, okay? This is exactly the Milanista that I can't stand.
Frank,
Pirlo-
look, like,
Pirlo-
you're gonna get him all fucking.
No, because Pirlo is on the same level as Cassano.
No, that I don't agree with Frank.
Okay.
No,
So you know
that
what?
I don't agree.
Frank, from this day forward, has lost all credibility on the
Oh
podcast.
shit.
Zero.
Oh shit.
Frankie, you can go in your books, you can go in your brain, but as soon as you said Pirlo is the same level as Cassano, proprio zero.
It's getting heated up.
Zero.
But even Frank, he's a fucking, he's like NWO Hogan kind of heel.
Ma
you know what I mean?
per favore, Frank. I don't know if the air in Toronto is different from our air. I've never seen. That is officially the dumbest comment we've ever had on the Milan Weekly podcast.
Sorry, Frank, I gotta agree with Steve Cassano. I fucking hate him to put his jersey that I bought officially, and I framed it that I don't want to fucking see his name in again. I have Pirlo here, and I have Cassano here. Cassano, fuck him. Anyways,
This is gonna
the last
be
one.
even.
yeah,
Sorry, Frank,
Richard.
because-
Okay,
no,
here we
no,
go.
okay.
Let's go.
because
Last
of
one
the
is for
whole,
Vinny. This
yeah,
last
last
one is for Vinny.
Oh,
Last one is for me. Okay, here we go.
What is your favorite Maldini right back moment? Be honest with us.
I'm never
had
gonna
to.
live that one down, dude. I'm never gonna live that one down, and I take total responsibility. If you guys don't know,
I say worst weekly, so don't worry about it.
Richard and Frank, they host the Serie A sit down. I know Steve. I'm not gonna lie. Stevie listens to these things religiously, and it's like, no, we're gonna go on. I'm like, okay. So I go over to his house, and I had no idea this is like a deep dive kind of podcast, like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we're just there sitting and then he just pops up, and I'm like, yeah, right back. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. And when they, and I don't know why I had that brain fart, because I'm a left-handed person, and I'm like, left-handed left back, left-handed left back, and I came up with that. Fuck you, Richard. Thank you very much for bringing that up from over here.
Hey, cheers.
And Frank says, fuck you, Steve. I didn't read the whole comment. I said, Pirlo is an ungrateful prick like Cassano, not on a playing level. This is the best podcast ever. Let's go.
It's still the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. He's trying to reword his stupid comment. You can't reword stupid comment.
All right, so let's go to Twitter questions for both of you. The first was, I'm not going to say his real name on YouTube, but it's Ralib. Steve, you know who it is. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to say his character name on YouTube, but he wants to know, who's your favorite Star Wars character in this metaphor to be with you? I don't even think Steve's watched Star Wars.
Me.
Richard, why don't you take this one? Who's your favorite Star Wars character?
Oh man, I'm gonna go Han Solo. Easy one.
Yeah, you can go. Steve?
Han
Go
Solo
with
is
Skywalker.
No. Han
Go with
Solo.
Skywalker.
Han Solo is Italian or what?
Yeah, it's do país. It's from
Related to Hope Solo.
Arturo
Solo's
Maria.
father.
Yeah, you're gonna go. You gotta go with. Go with.
I know my favorite character, R2D2.
Steve looks like an R2D2 guy. I'm gonna have to go, with Han Solo, because he's just a badass. He didn't give a shit about anything. And we're talking about Richard. We're the same generation. We're talking about the old school, the real Star Wars, not
None
not
of that
these
BB-8
lost-
crap.
Yeah. Zvanko, our friend Zvanko from Sweden, which is just a piece of bread, even Zvanko. And we mentioned last week that he had this plan to sell t-shirts. Yes.
Isn't there Hakan Chewbacca Lobalobulu on Star Wars?
Yes, there's Chewbacca. Zvonko had even mentioned to us, we mentioned it last week, that he wanted to do like a special project to sell some Milan t-shirts that he makes, so me and Steve can actually, He wants to give it to the Steve and Vince Foundation that we can go to San Siro. Thank you again, Zvonko. We're going to get that done as soon as the Serie A restarts. But he asks, best bargains for Milan throughout the years. Best value for money. Sheva was a measly 23 million euros, earned us at least tenfold, and then owned the products by all means. What of players who came for free or were signed for a few million euros or less? The first comes to mind, guys, would have to be Suso, right? Forget the way he finished, but wasn't Suso a fucking great bargain?
If we sell him for 30 million.
But it looks like it's gonna be done. I don't know, Richard. Do anybody comes to mind for you or?
Obviously, Sheva's a great shout. He's one of my favorite players. Didn't we give Van Bommel for very cheap, something like a free, and he lasted for a few seasons, doing really well, deputizing as a super sub, basically when our midfielders needed some breaks. He was pretty good.
Steve, I don't know. You come up with any, but like somebody was a good deal. You know what? The thing is that again, we're gonna get into this whole thing free.
That's the Galliani area.
Exactly. The free, we don't know. We got caught with a lot of salary, you understand? So like a lot of the frees, the bang for your buck in terms of what we paid for him and what we didn't resell him, but what he just gave to the team, and he gave his everything through a really shitty time. And I'm not gonna go even back. Is Bonaventura, right? We got him for cheap. He could have been sold for much more, but we didn't because we needed him. If you go to I'm going to go back again. You cannot get Pirlo from Inter and turn him into a world-class player and not mention him. And the same thing, you switch Sidor for Francesco Coco. You end up on the winning side of that, right? But in the recent years, guys, can we really say we really got a bargain on someone? We always had to pay. We paid for Romagnoli.
Hernandez, Benacer, guys. I know Tommy's mentioning Van Basten back in the day, $1 million de lire, Cafu. Faz, Cheech is a good point. We didn't. He wasn't a fan favorite, but Menez, guys, was free. And Menez in that 2014, 2015 years, if it wasn't for his goals, guys, where the fuck were we going?
Didn't he average like 15 goals a year?
Yeah, no, talking about recently, Gigi saying Tarap. Tarap was good, but he was good for that 1 year. Benacer seems to, if it continues the way it's continuing, seems to be a good pickup. Hernandez, Tio, what did we pay him, guys? 15, if I'm not mistaken? 15, 20? Yeah. Not more than that, and it's like supposedly people are offering millions and millions.
Cafu was free, apparently.
Yeah.
Cafu was free, so those are good. Those are very good pickups from over there. But
like in that era, you see Gigi La Patate from the comments saying Kaká. It's those types of players, you understand, that we have to go find and get that connection to. I'm not saying only Brazil. I'm saying everywhere, like teams like what's it Red Bull, Rich and Slip and Slipe, and where what's his name gonna come from?
Richard, I believe, has a bit of German inside. Can you please pronounce it the correct way? Red Bulls, Leipzig, I believe it's around.
Rasenball Sport Leipzig.
Exactly the way I said it.
Going over this 45-minute cutoff. Let's go. But he's gonna freak out. I have to edit. We have to put 45 minutes.
It's okay. But anyways, you understand? Like we have to go find those guys. The Menez and the Mexes, those buys there, guys. I'm pretty sure Menez to get for free. We paid that. Now they're starting to release it, but the agent probably made some money, and we probably had him on a high salary. So is it really a bang for your buck for what we needed him? Yes. Yeah. In the end, accounting wise, is it something that's worth it? We'll never know. But if you're purchasing, I would go even Romagnoli, guys. If you think about it, we paid $20 million for him. You could easily sell him now for triple that money, right? The market changes.
Theo Hernandez too.
Yeah, Theo Hernandez too. His value is going to keep on going up, right? And if Milan needs to generate cash, these are the types of signing but you have to have some sort of plan and idea to replace these guys, because we obviously didn't have that in the past.
Milan Mo asks, in general, are you satisfied? I like this question, with Romagnoli being our captain, and do you see him staying at Milan for a very long time? We've been on both sides of the coin on this one, guys. We like the silent kind of guy, doesn't talk very much, but I feel that sometimes Romagnoli, uh, where it was time for him to come out and talk, did not come out. Richard, are you satisfied with Romagnoli as our captain? Do you see him staying? Is he our next, in quote, bandiera?
He could be. I think he was given the captaincy way too young. He needed time to develop as a person and a player. He should, no doubt about, should have been a Milan player, right? But I think giving him the captain band so young was a mistake. As like you said, the times that he should have spoken up, he didn't. He's young. He doesn't know. He doesn't know any better. And I think if he stays with Milan for the long haul, he can become this great bandieri. But for right now, there's other people I'd probably rather see. I mean, I can't think of him off the top of my head, but he's not been a great captain yet. He can be. He has much to learn, especially in the mental side, because he's still prone to those erratic plays where he gets a red card or something like that, something silly. But he is very solid back there, and I mean, there's not many players you could put over his head, put over him in terms of getting the captaincy right now.
Steve, how do you feel about Romagnoli?
I told you guys. Everybody knows my stance on this. There's Gigio and Romagnoli. Those are the pillars right now of that back line. Milan's gonna have to make a decision, especially financial fair play. It comes back whenever it comes back. What we do, no financial fair play. I think they have a little bit of leeway, and Romagnoli does stay. I give him chapeau because again he resigned at the shit and the crap of the crap. Knowing, watching Vinny, you were saying watching The Last Dance, Scottie Pippen having to sign a humongous contract because of personal reasons, right? No one knew that. We knew that he was the second best player in the league. We didn't know that he was paid the 122nd lowest salary. Like, is that a bargain? But he has no choice, no arm, no leg to go on. I'm not saying that same situation, but he signed a long-term contract with a really
in the worst possible fucking
exactly
situation.
Mind you, Scottie Pippen, he also did have Michael Jordan. We don't have the equivalent of Michael Jordan on Milan, but you have to tip your hat to these guys who sign in the rough times. On the field and off the field, sometimes I agree, and I've said it before. I need to see some. It's not him screaming at the ref. It's not him trying to hold his players back. I need to see that impact, game-changing tackle.
Okay, so let's take David's comments, because this is a fantastic comment, and I think this rings true, guys. I like Romagnoli as a player. I'm not convinced he has the respect of his teammates as a captain. Could that really sum it up, guys? Do we see, and nothing taking away from Romagnoli, but do we see forget Ibra. Let's take Ibra out of this equation. Do you see a Benacer going up to Romagnoli for guidance?
No.
Richard, do you see that? We might be completely wrong. We don't know what's going on, right? But do you agree with David's comments?
I do agree. You can take, and I'll take two examples where I think Benacer going up to Romagnoli is probably not happening. From my point of view, I'm not in the locker room. I don't know, but I would expect that not to happen. But on another case, we're going to look at Matthijs de Ligt when he was at Ajax. He was captain at 18. I think he did have respect of his teammates there. Granted, they were all young. Granted, they were mostly young. But I think Romagnoli has a lot to grow in his head. And when he does that, that's when he'll get more and more respect.
Guys, but the players need. I understand, guys. I understand that comment, and the reason why I disagree with it is, guys, it's been a revolving door at Milan for the amount of time that he's been there. How do you want these guys to respect him? It changes when he started. We had Menez, Luis Adrianos, Carlos Bacca. Then we're getting Bonucci, and the armband doesn't go back to him. It goes to Bonucci. We gave the Juventino the armband before we give it to him. And like you see, like I'm just saying, there's a constant flow of events that happens and changes. The midfield changes, the striker changes, the management, the leadership changes. Like, guys, at a certain point, come on, like, there's only so much this guy can command in terms of respect when every summer he's coming back and there's 10 to 7 new players every summer. It's
a very good point. Gino, your question, I'm going to read it, but it's so we talked about it even in the past, and it's so long to answer. Like, was asking Serie A is not canceled. Is this the right move, or should they have just given up, Juventus the Scudetto? What will happen in the transfer market? Where does this leave Milan? We don't have those answers, and we could discuss this for the next couple of hours. But I know PSG got awarded the Ligue 1 championship. I think they're the first league to do something like that.
Yeah.
Let's close off with that one, guys. Do you think they would just hand the Scudetto to Juventus, knowing what's going to probably produce in the media? Richard, do you think they're going to do it, or just going to say, like, fuck this, let's just cancel, start over?
Based on your Sato news, probably yes. I would hope no, because it's such a close race with Lazio right now. Lazio has a legitimate chance of winning the title. They shouldn't, but they probably will.
Steve?
Guys, I know this is what's going to happen. They're going to do it. They're going to give Juventus the Scudetto. And then this is Juventus's chance to say, you know what, guys? We're not going to accept the Scudetto di Carta.
Will they?
I'm
say
telling
they're
you,
not going to.
They're going to do it, because if they do it, then you have no argument against Inter anymore, right? I scudetti vinto sul campo. You understand?
Yeah.
So this one is not vinto sul campo. So if they take it, which already, just watching the news every single day, Agnelli is completely against taking this Scudetto win, right? So he's backed up against the wall. If he takes it, well, then every Interista could just show up at J Stadium and say, well, I don't want to hear anything anymore about Scudetto di Carta because you just took one.
Right? And Jamie Drummer's notifying us that the Ligue 1 is the only league, and with this clause, I'm going with his comments, that have a clause that at the beginning of the season, if for whatever reason, Ligue 1 stops, it gets awarded to the person in first place at that time, which will make sense because they're the only league that came out with this, right, guys?
Yeah,
so
right.
Let's close it off, gentlemen. Richard, I know we don't tell you anything, we don't prepare you, but see if you could think of something. Steve, did you go through your indigestions of the week? Do you have a specific one? Do you have anything bothering you this week?
Richard stole my two. They were really good. I was really on fire for that there.
So,
I want to go with my brioche of the week, guys. I know it's May the 4th be with you guys.
Your feel good moment of the week, Steve.
Yeah. But May the 4th take a rest, guys, because today is the anniversary of Il Gran Torino.
Yeah.
Yep.
Guys, this is 2 World Cups that we lost tragically, because we were going to win another 2 World Cups. 10 of the 11 starting of La Nazionale died in this crash.
Go educate yourself, people, if you don't know about the Gran Torino.
Terrible. And, I don't understand. I love the passion of the curvas and everything, but when they tweet or when they protest or striscioni about dying and shit like that, that pisses me off. But so for me, indigestion is not indigestion. Sorry, my brioche of the week and feel good movie is for everybody. I hope one day I can show my son that picture that my dad has in his little sewing machine room, where La Gran Torino all in the mountains where they fall at each circle, and name them. And I didn't get to see them play, but I was educated on soccer starting from them. This is Gran Torino. We didn't have back in the day an internet to go to there, but you go back and you see the players, and you're like, wow, 10 of 11 of a national team, it destroys the whole program. And imagine.
And nobody discusses the fact that Italy would have won World Cups after that. When a team is, I believe it was 1949, if I'm not mistaken, when did they
49-50?
49-50 when the plane went down, and that's your good feeling of the week, Steve, it's a fantastic one.
Yeah, it's just
we need to remember.
We need to remember, right? So
yeah. About you, Richard, anything that felt good this week in the culture world?
The only thing I can say, we're longing for Calcio so much, and I think we just saw today pictures of Sassuolo players getting back on the pitch. It's a sign that Calcio is coming back, maybe. But just good to see somebody on the pitch for once. We're missing Calcio so much right now, and obviously bigger things are going on in the world. But just to see a glimmer of hope that maybe potentially the season comes back this year, It's just a small sliver of hope there that
Yeah, and
we're praying for.
definitely. I think I was going to say the exact same thing. I believe even sports media said there was talk about Lecce. I think Lecce even they reopened for seeing that kind of signs to come back, and away we go. Stevie P, I'm not gonna close this off because you know what, we like to make Presidente work, so he's gonna edit this shit out to 45 minutes, guys. On a side note, this Wednesday, us, Steve and I, 6 p.m. YouTube. Richard, he knows because I told him on the in the VIP lounge where we were before. Ourselves and that snake, and Steve, when I call him a snake, Nima, because he's such a nice guy, he's more of a garden snake. He's not like a king cobra. He's like a garden snake. He's just over there. We're going to do a deep dive, guys. 2005 Champions League semifinal against Inter when the game got suspended with the flare. Join us. And Steve, what do you got to tell the people to subscribe over there? Because they need to know where we're going to go on, right? And Presidente said it will be pushed through as a podcast. Ooh. So my question to him would have been, well, how come our specials on our Bidone 11 didn't go on as a podcast, but Presidente is busy? Steve, are you excited about this deep dive, reliving some memories?
Yes, I am excited because I want to go back to these games and I want an Interista perspective. And you know what? And I would like to do it in other shows going forward. It's going to be hard for me, but I would like to. We'll finish with Nima with this one. We come up on the positive side and we win and we advance, right?
Yeah.
But I want to do one where we lose, and I think we're gonna have to do Istanbul. I haven't watched that game since. Yeah, I haven't watched that game since. I see the highlights. I see the highlights and I change. I hate when they reference it. I hate the year. I hate everything about that day. Like even in the Shvida when they're talking about it and they scored their first goal, like how do you fast forward this thing? Can't fast forward.
Yeah, you didn't want to do it. But we should definitely do that, like a kind of a watch along or anything like that. This Wednesday, Serie A sit down. Richard, what do you guys have coming up? With that other guy, Frank. There, you're the star of the show. We just.
Speak of the devil, he just sent a tweet out says, "Hey, I get I'm the ugly one, but a phone call from my spot and Richard gets video. What the hell?"
Look at that hair, Frank. Look at that hair. He's got a beautiful set of hair. This is the way we got it. Thank you.
Sit down. Yeah, we are. Sorry. Yeah, we are on. We did it. We did a podcast where we tried to do a video recently. Try to watch an old Calcio match. Didn't work so well, but whatever. We're gonna keep trying. That's what we do. We're gonna have a podcast here real soon, just to talk about what's not going on in Calcio at the moment. We'll have some stuff to talk about. We're also gonna, putting out videos on YouTube as well. Putting out articles, looking at articles that come out about, interesting facts. Like Chilino was very angry with the whole Serie A possibly coming back. He was angry about that, and going on the horizon here. We're trying to hit every team in Serie A, but you can follow us obviously at Serie A Sit Down on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook as well, and you can follow. I guess if you want to follow Frank, you can. It's at FTC_21. But please be sure to follow me at
Frank. Frank's gonna listen to this. Yeah. I know what Frank's gonna do. Frank's gonna listen to this, and then at a certain point, he's gonna get fed up. He's gonna fast forward to the end to see how we made fun of him, right? So I know that this is gonna be cut from Presidente, because God forbid we're a little bit funny. We're a little bit over and a little bit funny on Radio Rossonera.
By the way, you sounded just like Presidente earlier in the beginning of the podcast.
Guys, I told you keep it to 45 minutes, please. Richard, don't embarrass me. Richard, Frank, they're very good friends of mine.
My last call up.
So Frank, he tagged Milan Weekly Podcast in this Scotch tweet, and the Scotch tweet lasted like for 30 days. They were just posting bottle. I haven't even touched Scotch in I think like 40 years. And these guys were I'm like, Vinny, is Vinny chiming in on this? Because I have
no Calcio, there's alcohol.
Yeah. So he went on this Scotch binge, and I was like, Vince, you got to chime in on this because I have nothing to give to this Scotch. Show them your Frank Sinatra Scotch or something.
Yeah, you sent me this tweet, and I'm like, well, what is he talking about? This is Vinny's. I'm like, what the why are we in a Scotch conversation? I don't check the Milan Weekly Pod Twitter, but that was pretty Presidente. You know what, guys, we're talking about a loss, right, Steve? And Frank says it's too deep of a cut, Steve. Just leave it alone. Here's a suggestion. How about the Marseille game? Maybe a Marseille game that we lost when we were supposed to win back in those days, right?
Yeah.
We can talk about the Deportivo game as well. Was it the Deportivo when we were up the 3-0 and we lost 4-0? We can look at we can look at those kind of games there, because you know what, the 2005, I think it's been done, and I really don't want to rewatch, because I'm gonna get nervous at the penalty given on Gattuso's foul, and there was not
turn
a
it
foul.
off at halftime.
We can definitely do that. So
that would be good. Okay, game's over.
Game over. We won.
The champion.
Guys, thank you so very much for everybody commenting on there, following us. Went from we were at 45 live viewers back in the day. Now we went down to 15. Now we're up at 22. Look at Richard. He's bringing Steve. If Frank was on here, we probably would have had like 11 live viewers. Now we got Richard. Look at that set of hair. Look at that jersey. We can't go wrong.
Richard brings in the women.
Oh yeah, see, Sabrina. Hey, see,
Hi, Sabrina.
On,
Sabrina's on. And Frankie brings in the old man who drinks scotch.
Guys, so Pasquale said anything but that game from Mel. We'll take it in consideration. Guys, subscribe. Take a look at the notification button wherever it is on your screen, so you get notified.
The little bell. It's the little bell.
6 p.m. with that Garden Snake of Nima. We're gonna take a look at that finals, guys. We're gonna do. This is gonna be fun because I'm actually doing some research. We're looking at old articles, what went on into that game, and something fun to do. Steve, we're gonna be there live at 6 p.m. Did you put into your schedule, your quarantine schedule? We're good.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I'll talk about it there, but the how stacked the league was back in that day. Adriano off, Crespo in. Come on, this is crazy.
You look back at the it just doesn't make any sense. Those players that we had, and that's why Richard, I have the 2003 Champions League final, and I told my friend that is Juventini, he's like, why the fuck would I want to watch that game? I'm like, not because of the result. Looking at that first 10 seconds of all the players, Juventus and Milan, and then you start wondering, where the fuck have we come? This is, we're not talking about 50 years ago, just to take a look at those old games and have some sort of good memories. And hopefully you guys do the same thing, some sort of watch along. You figure out, don't ask us because we're not professionals, unless you ask Presidente. He's going to tell you how to work out. He's going to tell you to buy yourself a Polaroid, to take the pictures this way and stuff like that. Good old Presidente. So, gentlemen, ovunque sempre.
Forza Milan.
Guys, thank you very much for listening in. Richard, thank you very much. Forza Milan to you as well. And have yourselves a fantastic evening. Thanks for listening in. As we close, we'll go to 25 live viewers. Guys, buonasera e Forza Milan.